John, before we jump into our conversation about Godfather, I did want to ask you about the AAA show over the weekend. I enjoyed the show. I have been a AAA fan for a while. I know you have too. I thought this was a fun event. It made for easy watching. It was a fun afternoon. I even liked the little details. Like if you took a look at the ring for the very first When Worlds Collide, they had the big Corona logo sponsorship on the canvas, but the ropes were red, white, and blue. Well, I think there is some pushback in Mexico about CMLL presenting themselves as the only 100% authentic, the only 100% Mexican owned, blah, blah, blah. So they went with the ropes and turnbuckles here as the colors of the Mexican flag. So you had green and white and red ropes. I thought it looked really cool. I was a big fan of the presentation, and I felt like they tried to be true to an authentic AAA show. When you had Miss Marsalis there in the ring to get us started, and she was in there with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and they had all the pageantry with the Spanish, the Mexican national anthem, and the symbolic urn for Antonio Pena. Like there were so many things that felt truly authentic to AAA, and we saw promos in Spanish and saw subtitles. I dug it. I thought it was cool, and it's no surprise to me because when I saw the act for the first time in person in 2022, I had never seen Mr. Iguana before, but I told Dorian and Conan after, hey, that guy, if this was WWE, he would sell millions of those iguanas. I mean, this is the lucha equivalent, maybe on steroids, of Santino Marella and all those comedic greats that we've had. I mean, this is a AAA version of Orange Cassidy, but that stuffed animal, my gosh, Mr. Iguana is going to be a huge international star. It feels like he got more buzz out of that than almost anybody over the weekend. What do you think of the AAA show, and what do you think of Mr. Iguana's presentation?
I love Mr. Iguana. That kid is awesome. He is so fun. He speaks great English. I don't know where he's from. Is he Mexican?
That's a great question. I don't know.
So obviously seen when I was makeup, but I didn't know if he's from Mexico or he's obviously very fluent in Spanish and English. But he's an Iguana fan. He's not just. I mean, this isn't just some bullshit gimmick that he's carrying around. I mean, he knows all about iguanas. This comes out of a passion that he has for iguanas. And I was talking to him last time about you need to do some stuff like Ricky Steamboat did. With the dragon and all this stuff, the vignettes, not in the ring, because you're going to have a problem with PETA if you start, bringing live animals in the ring and something gets stepped on or something. But doing the stuff like Ricky Steamboat did with the dragons. But he is just a good person. He knows the business. He's gotten over like $1 million. And I agree with you. This is a merch bonanza.
Yes.
This kid. They're going to sell so many frequent iguanas. And it's not just because he's got a colorful look and a colorful little iguana that goes with him. It's because of him.
Yes.
Again, it's hard to get over. That kid has gotten over in Mexico. I've watched him every time I've gone down there. I'm a huge fan of his. He can work. He can do all this crazy stuff. The people love him. And he has a way of integrating all this crazy, silly stuffed iguana into his match. It's really unique. You got to see this guy, and I think it's gonna change over time. Because what worked in Mexico is going to have to morph a little bit to what works in the United States. Doesn't mean it changes completely, but it's going to change, and he's smart enough to do it.
I'm pumped to see it. I've been a big fan of Mr. Iguana ever since I first saw the idea and the concept. And I have to admit, I didn't get it at first because I caught his match in the middle. So I was somewhere else, and then I come in the ring and he's already in the ring. So I missed the entrance and all that. But when he went on his back and had his arms and legs up in the air the first time, I sort of tilted my head like a dog hearing the Andy Griffith theme song and said to myself, what the hell is this? And the more I watched it, they were selling for the iguana. Man, he's got so many great spots. It's fantastic. And I realize that there's some people who like the strong style or the New Japan style or whatever. And I hear you. However, our friend Dusty Rhodes used to say something like, wrestling should be like a buffet. There should be something there for everybody. That's kind of what I view for Mr. Iguana. Like if you're targeting kids, if you're looking for fun, not every match needs to be, hellfire and brimstone. There can be some comic relief, some let me up, as Pat Patterson might say, right?
Absolutely. I was down there one of the first times I was there for AAA, the Triple Mania, and last year in August, and they had like a Royal Rumble. There was the rules. I don't know. I still don't know what the rules are, but they had like the little guys, I don't know what the correct name is. Hornswoggle prefers the term midget, so I use that term, but people get mad at me for saying that, but that's what Hornswoggle likes, dwarfs. But they had big ones, and then they had small ones. So they had different size. So like they're doing like the big ones would do the Andre spot, and the small ones do like the little spots. And then, but this was like part of the Royal Rumble they had, which was not a Royal Rumble, but it was something like a Royal Rumble. Then you had guys coming out. Then you had women coming out. Then you had trans wrestlers coming out. So you had all these little dwarfs, different sizes. You had men, women, and trans all in the match. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And you're watching it and you're going, this is just fun.
Yeah,
it's just fun to watch. Does it make sense? No, it didn't make any sense to me. But in a weird way, you're looking at it going, this is really entertaining. I think people are going to enjoy it. It's a different style. There's different rules. There's no rules. They got a heel referee down there. That guy is freaking awesome, man. Wait till you see this guy, how good he is. It is so fun to watch that heel referee work. He has so much heat. They're going to keep the culture and heritage, I believe, intact. They're going to Americanize it a little bit. I get all that. They're going to Americanize the production, WWE, the interviews and stuff as far as the production on it. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch these AAA guys work.
I can't wait to see what's next for AAA. So happy for Jeremy Borash and Dorian Roldan and the whole crew. It was one hell of a debut, and I can't wait to see what's next for them. But what's next for us is we're going to be talking about the one and only Godfather. And most fans probably remember first seeing, I guess Charles Wright is his real name, as Papa Shango back in 1992. But that wasn't really his in-ring debut. He'd been in Memphis at that point and Global and even New Japan as the Soul Taker. He had worked in South Atlantic Pro Wrestling under a different gimmick. He had worked for Otto Vons and CWA as Rocky Las Vegas. When was the first time you saw Godfather's work, and when was the first time you met Godfather?
I believe I saw his work as Papa Shango. I think the first time I saw him. I don't think I saw him as a Soul Taker unless I saw him in Dallas. Maybe I did see him. He was huge, and when I say huge, I mean he was. He could stick a beer can on his chest. He's one of those guys that he was massive. Like a 500-pound bencher. He was a big dude. He was a biker and part of he ran Vegas, by the way. If you went out to Vegas when he was in charge, anything you wanted, you just had to mention his name. I mean, he ran Vegas. He's a unique person. And I say that, and I love the guy. I'm so glad he's a friend of mine. It has been for years. I love him to death. But the first time I saw him in person was in, I believe it was Bremen. I was trying to figure out if it was Bremen or Hanover, but I think it was Bremen. They brought him in, I think it's Papa Shango. And, Ludwig Borga had some issues. And I never saw any of those. There were some like Aryan supremacy claims, and I have no idea if any of that's true or not. I don't think that's what that was over. I've talked to Godfather since. Apparently it was over some match they had in Europe where it was a work, and Ludwig went over and was bragging about, beating Godfather, which is kind of bullshit. It's a work. And Godfather walked in. We're sitting there having some drinks downstairs in the bar, and it may have been Hanover. I'm getting them confused. It was up north Germany. Godfather walked in and just slapped the shit out of Ludwig Borga. I just walked in, slapped there, didn't say a word, just walked in and just jack slapped him. And Borga was a big, tough dude. I mean, this is not something that there he is there. He was a big, tough dude who's known as a big, tough fighter. And Godfather walked in and just absolutely jack slapped him. And that was the first time that I saw him in person.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment, and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time.
And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to savewithconrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at savewithconrad.com. Shoot me an email at conrad@savewithconrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105 or get yourself a quick quote. Even talk to a live person right now at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at savewithconrad.com.